Hello, my name is Ripley. Welcome to the video.
What's up, Schmucks? I hope you had a lovely Christmas or other holiday, whatever your thing is. Whether you spent it with friends or family or by yourself or with a pet, I hope you had a great time. Anyway, this weekend we saw the release of both Pixar's Soul and Wonder Woman 1984, and I watched them both. Will I review them both? I don't know. We're gonna find out. Before we get started, I just want to say that this video is brought to you by the G-Words Podcast. The G-Words Podcast is the podcast I do with my friends sometimes. We talk about all sorts of things, like how the beach sucks. We play a round of 50 scuffed questions, and I do collabs with other people. I do hope to make the podcast more consistent in 2021, so hopefully some of you schmucks will be listening. If not, that's also fine. I know podcasts aren't for everybody, and also it feels like every fucking person on the planet has one, so I mean, don't worry about it. Anyway, let's review Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1984 is the latest movie in the DCEU and the sequel to 2017's Wonder Woman. The film stars Chris Pine back as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig and Pedro Pascal as the villains, Cheetah and Maxwell Lord respectively, and of course, Gal Gadot in the leading role of Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. And this movie tells a story of what Diana Prince was up to in 1984, and that's it. This movie is being slammed on Twitter right now and has gone to be a fairly divisive comic book movie, and I can kind of see why. This movie is, in the words of Quentin Beck,
really stupid. Oh.
But in the words of Joey Tribbiani,
I like it.
and I think that's okay. This movie has a super strong opening sequence on Themyscira, but from then on, the movie is just a little too cheesy in certain areas. But at the same time, there are some really genuinely great moments in this movie, but they don't even themselves out, and so it's more like 60% cheese and 40% good shit. For example, I really loved Pedro Pascal as a cackling villain with stupid motivations, and I loved Kristen Wiig as Cheetah, and she kicked some major ass in this movie. I also really loved Chris Pine back as Steve Trevor. I thought he was hysterical. But you'll notice something I didn't love, that being Wonder Woman, and that's kind of an issue for me. Across the DCEU, Wonder Woman has remained fairly consistent as the do-gooder hero who's a symbol of virtue and heroism, which is good. That's what Wonder Woman should be. And believe me, Gal Gadot is amazing as Wonder Woman, and I would love for my hypothetical daughter to watch these movies and see a strong and empowering woman who she can look up to. That would be awesome, but that doesn't change or excuse the fact that Wonder Woman is kind of boring in this movie. She's become what everyone assumes Superman is, an uninteresting, super OP, goody two-shoes character, and I found her to be very dull. Maybe I'm just burnt out on Wonder Woman. She is the most seen and most used character in this franchise after all. But at the same time, she's only in her sequel movie and she's already getting boring. That could be a problem. This movie goes for a tone of goofy and quirky, and I can understand why. This movie is a love letter to the Chris Reeve Superman movies of old, with elements of the superhero flicks of today. There's a scene early on in a mall that displays this heavily, and that's when I accepted what this movie's tone was going to be. I think a lot of people were really expecting this colorful 80s feeling movie to have the same tone as the first one, which was set in World War I, but this movie makes no effort to do that, and again, I completely understand why. That's not the tone this movie wanted to strike. That's not the time period. It went from being a war movie to being a colorful 80s joyride. I understand that. However, I'm only saying I accept and understand the tone. I'm not saying I like it, because again, this movie is very fucking cheesy. This is a 2.5-hour movie with 4 action sequences, and 2 of them are too cheesy, too goofy, and just weirdly filmed, and thus they're just not that enjoyable. The final battle is very brief and kinda lame, but there is a fight in the White House that I actually really enjoyed. The CGI in this movie is fairly good. When Wonder Woman is jumping around, it looks good. Cheetah looks good. Everything looks good, but there is some laughably bad green screen in this movie, particularly involving a shot of Wonder Woman running and another of her moving through the air. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're going to watch it, you'll realize what I'm talking about. Bad CGI or bad green screen doesn't diminish my opinion on a movie, but when it's noticeable like this, it's not exactly helping its case either. Also, why was this movie set in 1984? It doesn't do a whole lot with the time period that makes it so that this movie has to be set then, so why do it? I haven't mentioned this yet, but Patty Jenkins is still an amazing director. This movie doesn't tarnish her name or her reputation or anything like that, but I would like to see her tackle another character once she's done with Wonder Woman. A Patty Jenkins Supergirl or a Patty Jenkins Superman could be really interesting and very fun. Maybe give her to the MCU MCU when she's done with Star Wars, I don't know. I've always liked Patty Jenkins. If you haven't seen Monster, highly recommend it. And I'm really glad she's a go-to for these blockbuster studios now, because she definitely deserves it. This movie also has a mid-credit scene, which is genuinely fantastic. It's the best part of the movie. I watched this movie with my dad, and when we got to that scene, we both lost our shit, so definitely stay for the mid-credits. There's no end-credit scene, just a mid-credit scene. I waited at the very end, there's nothing there. I looked so you don't have to. I really hope Wonder Woman can be written better going forward, because Gal Gadot truly shines as this character, and it upsets me that Diana has become uninteresting to me now. There really isn't much else to say on this movie. Anything else I want to talk about is kind of spoilery, and that's a conversation for a different day. No spoilers here. For now, Wonder Woman 1984 is completely fine. It's a dumb, goofy movie that has some enjoyable moments in it, and a genuinely fun cast of characters. But that 40% of good shit can't save this movie from being as cheesy and bland as it is, which really does hurt it in the end. It's also not as good as Birds of Prey, so that makes Birds of Prey the best comic book movie of 2020, for me at least. This movie isn't as good as the first Wonder Woman, and it comes in as a middling addition to the DCEU. It's still better than Batman v Superman though. I do like this movie. I genuinely do like this movie, but I don't like it as much as I was hoping to, and I don't like it as much as I think I should. But anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.
This concludes the video.